We have waited all winter for this.
It's the biggest race we have all year long.
The icons of this sport have all starred on its biggest stage.
It's the great American race. Trust me.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Pull them belts tight one last time, boys. Light the fire.
Big push coming now for Harvick. Oh, and around goes a couple cars. Priest upside down. He's barrel rolling through the grass.
You got plenty of money. Don't need that to keep racing. Is it worth the risk to keep on going?
Sure, to win.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Micah D. White, joined by two of my best friends, Eric Daytona Ron and Robbie Shrey, Matt the Statman Riley, out of town on business. I think he's in, was he in Nashville or something, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's in North Carolina doing something down there.
No,
something with Old El Paso, I think.
I think so. He saw the driver, the old El Paso number 17 Fastenal Ford down there. He told us about it. But hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had yourselves a Denny type of weekend. He was the big winner 2 weeks in a row, this time at Darlington. And we all know that Denny loves the lady in black. And he got it done. Fellas, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. You know the deal by now. Fellas, how's your weekends?
Great. I was with Dovin 90% of the weekend. We missed each other on Friday, but it was late in the day Saturday, early in the day. I'll rewind. We reached out to them, to him and Dana, and we're like, hey, would you guys want to hang out? We didn't hear back, and Dovin and her are cleaning, doing their spring cleaning. I think they did their basement, I believe. And so they get back to life, and we get the old text, do you guys want to come over? I remember Kimmy asking me, and like it was like that voice was like half and half. Like if I said yes, she was gonna say okay. If I said no, she was gonna be content with staying home. And I just look and I go, we haven't seen them in a while. I go, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
It was the best time in a long time because
we partied like we were like 21 again. You know what I mean? Just like in my kitchen, playing beer pong, listening to early 2000s on the jukebox. It was just one of those nights, you know?
Nice.
Dude,
2 a.m. rolls around, you're like, when did this happen? You know?
Yeah. And I remember waking up Sunday morning and I felt like total dog shit. And I get a text and it's Eric and he's like, yo, man, like, you feel like shit today too? And I'm like, absolutely. I go, I got like ran over by a bus, backed over again. It was a rough start. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, in a few hours, I got this dart party to go to. We go to the dart party at our local watering hole at Douse's, and it was just on from there. I'm like, give me a screwdriver. So I got a screwdriver out the gate, dude.
You gotta get that vitamin C in.
I was gonna be able to drink. Like it was like one of those things where I'm like, man, like it's the dart party. Like I didn't expect to get banged up last night. Got absolutely annihilated, and like you go to a bar though, it's a different like. You're different. In the atmosphere. You're there. So it's like, okay, like being in a bar, like if I was at home, not a prayer I was taking a sip of any kind of booze. But you're at the bar, the race is on, it's the dart party. That first one, it went down a lot better than I expected. So we ended up tying one on Sunday.
You guys are maniacs, man. I knew you guys are in rough shape already when Eric called me lap 3 of the race, harassing me about Tyler Reddick ending Chris Buescher's day last year in Darlington. Even though Reddick led, like he dominated, like William Byron dominated this year. He led like 180 honestly, some laps.
I didn't know how. I knew Buescher was mad and had like a couple wins where like.
It came real close,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how it went down. And Puff was saying, he's like, oh, I think Reddick was one. I'm like, I'm going to call Whitey right now, and I'm going to give it to him.
It's funny. So I was watching on the phone because they just got a late go of it on Sunday and didn't get to the grocery store till late. So I was watching in the car on the way home, and you called, so I picked it up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, Larson in the wall. I go, fuck, I missed it. I'm on 81 right now.
Yeah, and guess who had him in the poll? So I ran a poll league. I did a poll at the Dart League to get everybody in tune to like NASCAR. I wanted it to be fun, so we did $10 a man. We were gonna run it. I did 24. I didn't think I would fill, like I cut numbers 1 through 24 for pole position. On the back of every number, I put the driver. So I'm filling it out, and I'm like, wow, 19, who's that? Oh, Kyle Larson. I go, wow, whoever gets that is going to have a good chance to win. Put it in the hat. We go around. Who do I get? Kyle Larson. Dude, wind out of my sails. Lap 3, I'm out of the money, dude. I'm like, well, at least it's not rigged.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, after that happened, Shredder, he sat in the corner of the bar and looked like a sad puppy dog for about 15, 20 minutes, where like he didn't talk to anybody. He was at one point, someone put, he goes, look at what the hell's wrong with him? Why does he look so sad in the corner? I said he had Larson. He just crashed into the wall.
Took all that time, put all that effort in to make the pool and everything, threw his own $10 in, collected the money, and he's out. It's like, that's deflating.
It was a decent poll, though. We had $230. It was awesome.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we're a bunch of degenerate gamblers. Anyone willing, give me $10. You like, they don't know what it's for. You just have, give me $10. Yep, okay, here you go.
Dude,
you don't even know what it's for.
Speaking of degenerate gamblers, man, I'm in, Shrey, you're in that league too. I'm in Puff's league for fantasy this year because I like me and Matt didn't feel like being the commissioner again.
Thank God they do it,
dude. I'll be in first, second, third all day long. I've gotten fucked by Ryan Blaney so many times. Yep. I got fucked by your guy, Josh Berry, this past week because I was like, oh, you want to know what? Shrey's onto something. He finished third here last year. Let me take him. Let me put him in fantasy because I figure everyone's
then your driver takes him out.
And then my driver takes him out. And then someone else fucked me over in fantasy too. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was probably, was it the Herbst and Hostevar thing at the end of the stage?
No, it wasn't that. I had Austin Cindric, and I swapped him for Chase Briscoe because Briscoe was running better than him. And then caution came out during green flag runs. Cindric gets shuffled back up to the front where he wasn't at all day long. Briscoe, who was working hard all day long to get back up to the front, finally got there. He got shuffled back because he had just pitted. It screwed my fantasy day again. Like, unbelievable.
That whole scenario that you just said, that's how Bell and those guys got back to the front. Because that caution landed at the perfect time for that. Dude, they didn't go anywhere. It's like, I wrote that down in my notes today where I'm like, it was crazy to see Bell in the back, 25th and worse, not being able to make a single pass.
No.
And then the caution comes out, the roles get reversed. He's running in the top 5. His car turns into like the magical ride, he said. It hit it completely different.
But it didn't turn into nothing. All it is what Denny said on his podcast today. It is annoying. We're in the 4th year of this next gen car. Everybody, all the teams, all the drivers are equal now. They're all equal. So guess what? We all thought, like, I'm watching that race and I'm consuming it. And I'm like, oh my God. I go, Willie B must have like a rocket ship. No, he was just fortunate to have clean air, be in the front. Because what happened when he got out of the front? He was like everybody else. Couldn't pass, couldn't do this. The only driver on Sunday that could make a move and drive through the pack was Ryan Blaney. The best car did not win it.
No, it's true. It really is true.
But that race was so frustrating for me to watch because you had two stages where it was just consumed by nonsense.
Chaos
it was
cautions.
hard for the broadcast to even say anything like, oh, like Willie B's out in front. No shit. So they're trying to find other things and they couldn't.
I think at some point too, the broadcast even said like, "Oh, we've had so many weird cautions at weird times. Like there is no pacing of this race. Like we can't even figure out a pacing of it." And I agree. I don't know. It was tough because I kept waiting for someone to catch William Byron because I knew like if anyone could catch him, he's going to fall like a rock. His car hasn't been used to dirty air all day long.
Qualifying lap, though, dude, nobody was going to catch him. If he stayed out front, like his car was legitimately light years faster than everybody else's when he was out front. And like he laid down that qualifying lap fast as shit. Well, guess what? You're single car, you're out there, you're putting a lap down. And when the race started, he had that for 243 fucking laps. So it's like you can't. That's why this car, the strategy races have become a better racing product because we're forced to just think that way now. This car, that's the only thing it produces.
Yeah.
And I agree. So we had to relearn, and like now you're into strategy. But guess what? Those phantom cautions that happened, like nobody expected lap 3, that fell on its face for stage 1 right there. Then you had Hocevar's incident, and a few others. Brad Keselowski, NASCAR was trying to do the right thing, not throw the flag. And then they're like, oh, should we not throw the flag? He might get it back up and running. Oh, debris. And, I'm kind of with the guys on the other podcast. I don't want to say their name, but it was against a wall where that nobody's running the inside wall. So like, why? I don't know. I just think a caution needed to be called there.
Who said that? What podcast was that? DBC? Were they talking about it? Because the broadcast never showed the debris either.
Yeah, they did. They showed the lug.
It was the lug coming off
on Sunday. And then I rewatched it. They showed it. It was like rolling, but then they fan to the guy picking it up, and it's against the fucking inside barrier wall where there's sponsors. Imagine inside Pocono, all the way to the far where they put like the painting. Nobody's running that.
It's near the grass and stuff. Like, I don't. That's the most frustrating thing because it took 3 laps for them to call it too. Like. I don't know. I was bitching up a storm because I forget exactly what happened at that point, but I think Reddick was cycling towards the front, and I was like, oh, like now is the time. Like something's gonna happen. We're gonna see a battle for the lead now because of the traffic and all that stuff, And it just never materialized. It kind of sucked. And
but I don't know. This race lacked something, and I just think it would have been better if you didn't have if we were able to watch it and consume it. And want strategy to take place, but it fell on its face like so many times. Like you had the good cars up front, and then like they would go pit, and then a caution would come, and now all the cars in the back that were dog shit are now up front. They look great. It's not that they're great; it's that everybody's the fucking same now.
And now
everybody's running the same laps, and it's frustrating.
Right, and this is like that was my whole point in bringing this conversation up. Was because I was leading to my next point, and it just so happens Matt's in North Carolina right now. But he always would stress, and like I kind of like didn't agree with him on this take that he had. He always like, oh, qualifying doesn't matter. Well, yeah, when you're a fan of Chase Elliott, when you're a fan of all these guys that are qualifying in the top 5, top 10 every fucking week,
it's like, it
qualifying doesn't matter. Well, guess what? When you're rooting for someone back in 22nd to 25th, and you're qualifying back there in this fucking car, that hurts you. It's absolutely qualifying has become one of the most important things for this next gen car, because if you don't qualify well, you're just as fast. Like Shrey is saying, you're just as fast as those guys that are on the pole and in the top 10, but you're just the same. You're just stuck back there. You can't move at all. So I don't know. Like I disagree with Matt and the fact that like maybe back then qualifying wasn't as important because you could move around. There was more comers and goers and stuff. But in this car right now, if you qualify like dog shit, it doesn't matter if you're Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, right? It doesn't matter. You get put in the back, you're going to have a tough fucking day if you don't get the cautions to go your way like it did on Sunday for those guys. And, thankfully it did because they were in the back coming through. And, that's part of racing though, too. Everyone gets those cautions. That's why I don't do fantasy anymore. You're bitching about fantasy and all that stuff. That's why I don't do it, because you never know when that's going to happen, but it always seems to happen.
I'm glad you brought up the qualifying piece of it all, too, and fantasy, because I didn't play William Byron for fantasy this week for that specific reason, because I like to look at practice times. I like to look at lap averages and overall averages of speed, and he had a fast 10-lap average in practice, and then he fell off a cliff in a 20 and 30-lap practice, where I'm like, yeah, like he has a fast car to put it on the pole, but once he's out and like battling, he's going to fall apart. And it just never materialized because, again, clean air is king. Every time he just got a great launch on a restart and got out there, you know? And then you watch the battle for second and third, like, kind of happen. And the battles were pretty good, I thought, on the restarts at least, you know? And I don't know. Darlington's a tough one because you race the track more than you race other cars, you know? And you could be trying to set up a pass for, 15 laps or so. I thought it was me and Matt were laughing in the text message because Mike Joy kept saying like, oh, there's going to be a battle for the lead here. And then it's like, yeah, that battle for the lead, you thought Bubba was coming. Well, now he's fallen back 2 spots and Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell are passing Bubba for second and third, where it's like, yeah, you're waiting for something to happen that never materializes because, again, the car's on rails just going out there doing, qualifying laps over and over again, which was frustrating. I gave it a C- or a C plus B- originally. I bumped it up to a B just because I did enjoy waiting for something to happen. And you want to know what? I've bitched about blowouts in NASCAR a lot, where a guy gets out, leads every lap. I feel like this one wasn't, because I was waiting where I'm like, I know Byron's car isn't that good. I know, like, if someone gives him something or he gets stuck in lap traffic like he did near the end of that first stage, I'm like, we could see a good race develop here, And
that's, Whitey, I noticed that as well. And like in the majority of what I was thinking, I stopped thinking about William Byron in the front leading all these laps. And I just saw that, like, when these cautions came out and this flip-flopping was going on,
yeah,
there were other competitive cars in the field. Yeah. So that gave me hope. Like you said, in maybe the third stage, maybe it would work out that all of those competitive cars will get in a groove and they will race each other for a win at the end.
Yeah.
But like we said, there was a possibility. Like, this wasn't a blowout, Whitey. You're right, because William Byron just led the most laps, but there were other cars that were faster or just as fast. The cautions didn't allow the race to play out the way it should have. And that's really what this race comes down to. And that's why I can't really bash it into the ground, because it was just an unfortunate set of cautions that really took the steam out of a lot of the climax points of the race. And that always is going to hurt.
And I got to tell you, I bumped it up to a B because the third stage, we finally got that long green flag run. We saw the strategy play out. Reddick took tires 2 laps before everyone else, gave him a nice little lead. And then we saw Blaney charging through the field. And goddamn, was that fun to watch, man. And it
was amazing.
They battled hard. Reddick had burned up his tires. Blaney finally takes the lead. And you're like, man, you want to know what? Blaney's been working hard all goddamn day. I think he deserves this one. And the greatest fucking driver in the world spins out again. This time he had a little help. Bubba Wallace got into the back of him. But I don't understand why he checked up the way he did. I know, Blaney and Reddick in front of them got a little loose or whatever, but I don't know. Did you watch the in-car of Larson and Bubba?
Yeah, Reddick smacked the wall, and he saw him smack the wall, and he anticipated him actually spinning out and coming in front of him. There's no doubt about it. In real time, I didn't think so, but Steve Letarte was talking about it. I saw a clip of him, and he slowed it down and rewinded it to the point where as soon as Reddick hit the wall, you could see that, it was an egregious, throttle crack. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he had any clue Bubba was as close as he was to him either.
That's the thing. Larson just made the pass Larson just made that pass, though. He literally passed Bubba and then slammed on the brakes and brake checked him.
That's a perfect segue into this.
I don't know.
I want to ask you guys, perfect segue right into what I'm going to mention here. I knew it was going to happen naturally, so here we are. NASCAR changes the DNF rule where, hey, you what was it for the last couple of years?
Yeah.
You have
7 minutes or whatever.
7 minutes, you're back out. 153 laps later, here comes Kyle Larson. His car looked brand new, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It looked awesome.
Just didn't have the louvers.
They're just going out there to just get data points, right? And they didn't have nothing for Darlington. They need to come back there, for playoffs. So we don't have nothing to go home with, right? And he gets out there. It's going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
What we saw on Sunday is going to happen again. And
he went out there, Shredder, because he lost by 1 point in the. That's why he went back out there.
And you know what he did? What he did then? He went out there. He made up 1 point.
Some data. You're not taking home any data. Did this work? Well, you don't fucking know because you wrecked lap 3.
Yeah.
Well, right. Your car is totaled. You're not going to get any more data from that point going forward. The only thing you're going to do, you have to log laps to get points.
Well, but while doing that, they're also
getting data too.
I think something to that car to come home with,
but you're not collecting any useful data from a smashed up car that you had to just meet minimum speed with.
Still,
he was out there to get points because every point matters. He lost by 1 point, and they're like, if we go out there and we finish this race and someone else wrecks, and then they're behind us, and that's the 1 point we need because there's another wreck. That's why you're out there. You try to go till as long as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I agree with you, Shredder, to this point where I like when they put this rule in because I was tired of these back marker cars trying to stay in. Let's say, Reed Sorensen was riding around Timmy Hill with friggin' his quarter panel hanging off, his whole engine showing, that type of shit. And then every 10 laps, you get a fucking debris caution. I hated that shit. Get that the fuck out of here. That's why I liked the rule when they instated it. I don't know necessarily why they felt to go back on it, but I mean, to me, Larson's car looked, like you said, Shredder, that passed as far as for me. That car was good enough to be on the racetrack. I get mad when there's shit flapping and flailing, and every 10 laps you get a debris cut. That shit you can't. Make a judgment call. You're official. If that car, you could look at a car and be like, do not drive that back onto the racetrack.
No.
Those type of cars, there's a line, I think, to let something go back out there. But it's definitely going to happen. They're going to do that no matter what to try to get back on the racetrack. Except maybe if you're Kyle Busch, he'll get in his motorhome and he'll leave.
He don't give a fuck. I don't care about points. I'm not winning a championship with RCR.
Yep.
I love him though.
So do I.
He's don't go. You need points. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. I get 20 extra points.
I tell you what though, it did work out for Larson in the long run because JJ Yeley lost his brakes 30 laps in. He gained 1 point, and I'm sure there is more use to going out there logging laps. You get the team used to rebuilding cars quickly too. All that stuff matters, because
it's a teammate on the racetrack too that could block and throw themselves in front of the 45, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's games to be played out there. They could play the lap cars. I just. If you want to get into a topic, I think these cars that are fighting to get on the lead lap with these leaders are getting a little too fucking ballsy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
Hocevar, that whole wreck, with William Byron, that guy, he's literally racing like he's on the lead lap, battling for the fucking for the win there.
I think he was 2 laps down too, or he was going 2 laps down. He wanted to try to stay a lap down so you try to get the lucky dog.
There's a certain point when you just let
it happen.
Go.
Just let it happen. Today's not your day, man.
I'll tell you what, Hocevar is the new Ricky for this year for
Ricky
me.
Stenhouse Jr.
I'm saying that right now. I'm out on Hocevar.
I've been out weeks ago.
I'm out on him.
I'm pumped. I can't. Dude, for me, I can't stand Ross Shitstain, which he had a horrible day Saturday. What an asshole. But anyway, a different story. But in Xfinity, he was racing like a cocksucker. Christopher Bell, and all the guys that came down, he was a dickhead too. But anyways, you had I used to hold Ross as the king for me, as drivers I couldn't stand. Joey's just always there, but Hocevar, dude, he took the crown, he put it on, and he's fighting tooth and nail to keep it on his head.
Yeah,
it's like
he don't
every
give a
race
shit.
or something.
Mm-mm.
Just dumb. It's just the airhead moves. Like that's like it's just they're not. They're so avoidable. They're avoidable things that are just like a rookie. Like he's not a rookie anymore. Like
no,
like it's you've been around. You've been in a car long enough to know that. Like, come on, you're really.
Well, I don't know. Here's what I think is going on with him. He had a rocket ship the first couple weeks, and it was different. He wasn't used to it, and then he got like, oh my god, I'm in the front. Oh my god. Well, then you're racing like an asshole, and you're making asshole moves. But not only are you doing that, your interview is dog shit. You're giving 2 different interviews. What are you doing? Then you're now you're getting lapped. You should go down the apron. Let the leaders go by, and you don't. You're making stupid calls, and
you're making
it's because you got a
too.
taste.
And then you're making enemies in the process of it all too. You know, like I don't know. It's tough when you're a young guy out there because like you want to gain the experience and you want to gain the respect at the same time, and certain guys just don't do any of that at all. And Carson Hocevar, I feel like, is one of those guys. I feel like we're very up and down on Carson Hocevar depending on the week because, you know, in the truck series, he was a fucking menace, you know? And then then he comes up to the cup running part-time here and there. It's like, maybe this kid's finally, like, he's figuring it out. And then all of a sudden he's a menace again, you know?
Don't get me wrong here, though, either. I've noticed, like, and this is where I'm kind of, like, in the middle with it in a certain aspect because you hear Denny, like, you hear Junior, and all these people be like, they got to get it together. They have to do this. And it's like, I agree, they do. But to a certain extent, y'all motherfuckers did the same thing too. And had to be told, like you're telling him, it's you know, the same thing. It's a revolving fucking door. So like
my favorite.
I cut him some slack because you do, there is a learning curve. When you get a good car, like Shrey said, and now you're running up front with those people you're not normally running around, you do have to learn how to race and who's going to give you what. It is a tricky thing when you get a fast car and you normally don't. Those drivers that you're racing around, completely different. And
it's just growing pains, I think.
There's a learning curve, but I mean, there's also be smart about it. And while you're up there, don't make enemies, like you said, Whitey.
Yeah. I always think it's funny too. Dale Jr. in particular will like kind of go and talk about like, oh, this guy's got to get it together. These young guys need to learn respect and stuff. But then like his drivers are some of the worst when it comes to it. And then he'll get on there and go, well, yeah, I don't want to pull him back. I don't want to pull the reins back. You know, like I want him to go out and do it. Like he used to do that with Noah Gragson all the time. Or he's like, I don't want to tell Noah not to. You know, it's like I don't want to tell Noah not to race like that. You know, and it's like, well, you can't criticize, but also be a hands-off owner too when it comes to shit like that. Like Sam Mayer and all those guys.
It's the Earnhardt way. Like, think about it. Earnhardt would go and if he was there today,
dude,
you would have a controversy. And I think the person that races the closest to him today is Ross.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the hardest to pass. Every year he's voted, like the last 4 years. The whole field will say Ross is the hardest pass because he's putting you in a shit-ass spot. Lap 50, you know. And
he's going to block you. I will admit, he blocks, but he's a way better blocker than Logano is because you can either be a good blocker or a shitty one.
Shitty blocker.
At least most of the time, Chastain knows how to just take your line away and just frustrate you. But Logano just straight up just fucking, he doesn't even care.
He'll brake check you if he wants to. Robbie, you're gonna love this one. So I came across this post today, and it was a letter to Jim France back in the 90s. I guess after the pass in the grass happened. This is related to the Earnhardts. So it goes, Dear Mr. France, when NASCAR comes north to Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Dover, I suggest you leave Dale Earnhardt home. If he comes to a race, I advise him to 1, have some bodyguards, or 2, wear a bulletproof vest. I will be at one track, probably all 3 of my 30-odd 6, when I get a clear shot.
that guy is mentally fucking nuts.
Next paragraph. You fucking people won't do anything about his dirty driving, so someone else will have to. He has pushed his way around NASCAR tracks for too long. If that fucking son of a bitch wants to drive like that, then let him drive a super modified or a dirt track. Then he would get pushed to where he belongs. You keep talking about the integrity of the sport and let him get away with all his shit. It's too bad Bill Elliott didn't take him out. You assholes had better get your shit together or you're gonna have a short. You're gonna be short one driver. Tell Dale to watch his ass wherever he goes.
What?
NASCAR fans these days don't have any fucking passion. God damn it! This guy wanted
Wait, you got me this pin. That's my first race ever, 1999 Pocono, right? And I believe, if I have it right, I believe that race was a rain delay, and it happened on a Monday. Right? Almost certain of it. Rusty fan here. Earnhardt comes out, dude. They started spitting and throwing fucking cans on his fucking car. He wasn't really liked.
You either loved him or you hated him, and he hated him.
Respect for him.
Yeah, but he was like in today's world, it's either you're on the left or the right. There's no in between. That's how Earnhardt is. They had a ton of people that loved the way he drove. They loved that he went out there and smashed and wrecked and did whatever he had to do to win.
Love Dale.
There was a ton of people on that side. There was a ton of people on the other too.
I love Dale. I got the three there. That's a pin, but I do. But I respect them. But I'm just saying. I'll be real about it.
Where every era needs a guy like him. I do believe that. I think if you don't have a guy to ruffle the feathers of the field, to be a Logano, to be the Kyle Busch, to be the the Chastain and these guys, we bitch about them, and that's okay to bitch about them, but they do cause headlines, and they do cause the racing. There's entertainment to that,
and you know who that guy is right now. One James Dennis Hamlin, and I tell you what, I've been loving it, and I have to tell you, that pit stop was phenomenal. The way
did you see the guy with the one-handed move behind his back, dude? I have it written down, dude. So I just dude, I got to bring that guy up. A mammoth of a man, dude.
This week.
He practiced it all offseason, mastered it, and then he got it down. And I'll tell you, that's what won Denny. Not only his crew, but him. The way he enters the pits, the way he exits, he was better than everybody that day. Ryan Blaney, his crew lost him. That guy, the same guy that won it for Denny, the Jack guy, that guy lost it for Blaney. Oh my! How long did it take him to get it was like he couldn't find to get underneath the car.
Yeah,
I felt bad for Blaney. I felt so bad. Just
devastating.
Horrible pit.
I have that written down here. I have Pit Road this year has produced some of this year's biggest moments.
Yeah.
Because of Pit Road shit. Pit Road has been probably the top kind of storyline coming out of races. Either this guy fucked up, this guy got spun around, he was speeding, it's Pit Road has been a son of a bitch this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't so I missed the first couple of times that they showed Denny's pit stop, but they kept talking about the jack man, swinging the jack.
Yep. One-handed.
And then
switching hands.
I saw that pit stop at the end, and I saw how Denny shot out of his pit so fast. And I go, yeah, it's a speeding penalty. Like, no fucking way. And then that was like a 9.01 second stop. I'm like, holy shit, they were just fucking fast as shit. And that's what won him. And
the way he entered the pits and exited, he was unbelievable too.
I thought he was speeding at the end there. At the end, getting to that line, he looked so like fast. He was fucking going so fast. To the naked eye, how many times have we watched him come off a pit road? You kind of know. Even when they're coming out, you're like, ooh, he might get busted. Yeah. And that 11th, I'm like, he's fucked. Then he just fucked himself. Yeah, in my head, you know how many times his pit crew fucked him. so many times. And I'm like, oh my God, Denny just fucking sped. He just fucking sped. And
He's
when
gonna
they
get
didn't call
popped
it, I
for a
was
speeding
shocked.
ticket.
Yeah.
He's gonna get popped like a Busch Light can on a Sunday, dude. When in my hands, you know.
I mean, and you want to know what? I don't want to bring up championships and stuff, but like, it'll be a damn shame if Denny Hamlin retires without a championship. Because
here's my theory on why he's not going to. You opened up this podcast with saying Denny loves the lady in black. Well, that's the curse. He gets it done there, and then she haunts him to not get it done at the end.
To the playoffs, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's true.
I mean, somebody. If I'm Denny Hamlin, I'm letting anybody else win fucking Darlington.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I mean, how many times has he won the season ender at the Southern 500 and stuff? I don't know. Speaking of pit crews, though, we're doing this show completely backwards, boys, because I got some news to talk about. The Kyle Larson had a new pit crew this past week. He's running Justin Haley's pit crew minus the gas man. He kept his gas man from the 5 crew. We didn't get a chance to see him really go out and show the new pit crew off, but apparently Spire Motorsports gets their pit crews from Hendrick, so a little bit of a crew swap there. And then one story. Connor Zillage, he's competing in the Coca-Cola 600 for Trackhouse. And then there's 2 stories about lawsuits I want to update because the Lamar Jackson lawsuit, a lot of people are confused about that whole deal. They thought it was he was suing over Dale trying to trademark the number 8 that is on the junior motorsports cars. That font that they've been running since 2019, they're just switching over to the trademark number 8 that he ran at DEI to get away from that lawsuit and stuff. And I think it looks better anyways, so it kind of fits.
And dude, Dale's he's pro NFL. He has a relationship, I think, with them, and he didn't want to ruffle the feathers. They wanted to get that one back so bad. Well, now use it. You
get to use it everywhere, which I'm happy about that too. And then
I think it's a clown thing to do, though. Anyways, like he has a lawsuit. Lamar has a lawsuit against my dude Troy Aikman.
Yeah,
and it's like, you just shut up.
Like
you know, how many? There's only so many numbers you can use. There's going to be greats. Just be honored to wear the 8 as a QB in the league. You know how many great quarterbacks to wear that wore that number? Just relax, take a seat, dude.
No, I agree.
Everybody knows you're the 8 for Baltimore.
That's it, you know, and you got your brand. People are buying your brand because they know the brand, you know.
Yep.
People are money hungry. And then the other lawsuit is Legacy Motor Club is suing Rick Ware Racing. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, not last week, I think the week before, but some more details. Apparently, Rick Ware was supposed to sell their charter to Legacy in 2027, but now Legacy changed the year to 2026 without telling the owner of Rick Ware Racing, and that's kind of what they're suing it over.
And that's why I feel bad for Rick Ware. I do. I think this is one of those deals that they're a small little group, and they're getting bullied by the big guy. Fuck them. I'm glad. I hope Rick Ware, they're going to win. I hope they win this last.
Who's the big guy they're getting bullied by?
Toyota.
Because it sure as hell ain't Legacy Motor Club.
It's definitely a Toyota deal. Like Toyota wants that third charter, and hopefully get a little bit more movement. And then we skipped over the Xfinity race. You mentioned it, Ricky, on Saturday. Did you guys watch the Xfinity race?
No, I was blacked out with Dolvin.
Yeah, I watched it. I don't remember shit. But when you said like Ross Chastain was driving like an asshole, it reminded me. I'm like, yeah, Ross Chastain was in the 9 car, which was throwing me off because Chase Elliott was in the field in the 17 car.
Well, the next day, I'm hungover reading text from Dolvin and going through my newsfeed. And it's just like, I don't know if I have a thing against Ross where everything Ross, positive or negative, comes on my phone, dude. And I just get bombarded. And I'm like, oh my God. And I see Christopher Bell, for instance, you know, he was in it with him. And another guy from Cup that came down, like it was Cup on Cup hate.
Yeah.
And with Chase Elliott, he cut Chase Elliott. Like Chase Elliott had to let up and let Ross take it.
Yeah.
If he didn't, one of them were going to wreck.
What was Ross driving for? What car was he in?
Ross was in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports. Chase was in the 17 for Hendrick because Hendrick is running their car now. And that was just throwing me off. Brandon Jones ended up winning the race, though. I remember it being a good race, but I don't remember anything about it, to be honest with you, because it was one of those.
This way, if Brandon Jones wins the race, it was a fucking terrible race. For that guy to fucking win something haywire had to fucking happen.
Yeah. And then the Cup race, Denny Hamlin led, twice for 10 laps and lasted 3 hours, 21 minutes, 14 seconds, 8 cautions for 45 laps. We talked about those cautions, and 4 lead changes among 4 different drivers, which sounds like a big snooze fest. Kind of was, but kind of wasn't at the same time. Your top 5, James Dennis Hamlin, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney. And honestly, I feel like these have been the guys all season so far in the top 5, and add Bubba into that mix, and maybe even Ryan Preece and a couple others, but Toyotas and Blaney have just been great this season.
I was thinking about that when it comes to picks. I'm like, when you win, the winners are obviously winning, and it was kind of they go in spurts, Steve Bell goes 3 in a row, then Denny wins 2 in a row. And you know what I mean? The Chevys, obviously William Byron had a car, they're there, they're ready, they're up there to win. But like you said, Reddick, the 23, there is a really good group of cars that are all right there ready to fucking
just
go to victory lane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm loving it. I that's the thing. The last 2 weeks, I feel like the races haven't been super, super exciting, but it's the potential is very exciting. Man, I can't wait for the Coke 600. I think the Coke 600 is going to be an all-timer.
That really ruined the last 2 weeks, because I feel like if the strategy played out in both of them, we wouldn't be. You'd be sitting here saying, "Hey, it was an A race." It was just unfortunate, what cautions, I call them phantom cautions. They weren't. It's not that they shouldn't have happened. They absolutely call a caution when you got a driver spinning. It's just weird to see the best driver, in the world spinning out lap 3, and
just throwing everything off right from the bat. That was it. This race was weird right from the bat because of it. But other than that, I'm not sure. Do you guys have anyone else to really highlight?
Only thing that I'm not sure about, Whitey, and if you could clear this up, I was devastated to see that Ryan Preece finished in 27. What happened? Did he not cycle back through?
I think
did he get fucked in one of the pit cycles? He was running top 5 all fucking day long.
I think he did I think he got fucked over in one of the cycles. I don't remember which one. I want to say it was stage 2, and then he got stuck in the back and just never recovered because he didn't get any stage points in the second stage. So I think and he was running top 5. I think he had already pitted, and then that Brad Keselowski caution came out, and he was just a victim of that, where once he was in the back, he just couldn't make it through. A lot of guys were like that. Ryan Preece, Bubba Wallace, AJ Allmendinger had a pretty good car, and Austin Cindric, they were all kind of in the top 10.
That flop that happened, yeah.
Yeah, and man, once you're in the back of Darlington, unless you're making moves like Ryan Blaney type car, which it's rare. It seems like one car is able to do that a week, and that's it, And
it sucks, though. That would have been Preece's 3rd top 10 in a row. That's why I think they're fucking suing, because they want to keep that fucking charter for another year to collect data for fucking RFK Racing. That's why I think they're suing and causing all this bullshit. Saying, "Oh no, we got it for an extra year." Yeah, Preece is running top 10.
Yeah.
No wonder why you want it for another fucking year. Because Brad Keselowski, that cocksucker, probably is doing some greasy shit behind the scenes saying, "Fuck Jimmy Johnson. I'm going to keep this charter for myself for a year."
Listen, we've seen it, man. We saw it the first year with RFK and Brad was in charge. Chris Buescher's doing the best. Then Brad got his year the next year. Now he's got a 3rd car. He's like, hey, let's see what we can do with this 3rd car. Get some extra data, man. I get it. And you want to know what? Honestly, I wish RFK could stay a 3-car team because I'm liking what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'm liking it.
Their paint schemes are sick too every week.
They are.
Oh, speaking of paint schemes, I got one for you. Are you guys do you guys want to keep this tradition of this throwback weekend? Are you hey, this ship needs to sail?
If it goes back to Southern 500 throwback weekend, that weekend, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But this early in the season, it's not summer. I didn't even have a hot dog on the fucking grill yet. Do not give me throwback weekend.
No.
How about you, white man?
I'm over the paint schemes for the most part. I wish it was either the Southern 500 or the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro, because North Wilkesboro is a throwback.
Yeah,
it just feels right. I'm over the paint schemes mostly because I feel like all of the great ones have been done, or it's they're throwing it back to like weird shit
But I told you, you got to think.
I think it could be saved if they stick to a theme every year, where it's like,
I think so.
NASCAR champions, or
year.
90s, 1998,
90s.
You know, like shit like that. You know,
Here's my take.
Because, hold on. I think it's a good thing, and it's something I never thought of until it was brought up this weekend, where it is a good weekend to bridge the gap between old fans and new fans, where like you get to share in the fun of like wearing a throwback t-shirt for the fans and stuff, like shit like that, where like us, if we were down there, I'm like, man, I'm pulling out my coolest 90s vintage t-shirt I got, you know, and then some old guy's wearing his, and you kind of bond over that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Here's
what
my
were you gonna
take.
say? Yeah.
I agree with it, both of you guys. Like, give me either North Wilkesboro, give me the summer, 500. But I just think they need to take a break. Like, do it because they're running out of like ideas of like who to throw it back to, and like, oh, this scheme, that scheme. So like, why not do it every couple of years, or take a break from it, because then it's like, oh my God, I can't wait in 2028. Maybe every 4 years.
It's throwback weekend again.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Like, and then it's like this big this big happening, because otherwise you just get like, it's watered down. Like they're fighting for it. Like no offense, like Noah Gregson's car throwing it back to a junior. I thought that car looked like shit. If you didn't know, first of all, the numbers don't match. Like, or did they? Was he in a 4 car? Because no. And it's like, to me, a good throwback is like you're able to do what Kyle Larson did.
In the
have
number,
the right
car,
number, carry the Bonnie. Yeah. And you're like, give me the Kellogg scheme. You need to almost have the same number on the, like, that's why I thought Xfinity, they nailed it. Like Xfinity, a lot of theirs.
Xfinity does it better every year. Like, and I feel like they just have a little bit more creative leeway with it too.
But as a consumer, I mean, I love buying this shit. Like, dude, I didn't buy nothing this year. First of all, Josh Berry's car was sick, but I'm not fucking buying another diecast unless you win. Yeah. So I bought the Wood Brothers race win, but I just have too many in this room that I'm like, I can't do it. Fuck it.
I do like he's going to run that scheme again at Indy for the Brickyard, which where
he's not going to win that one. It's not a short track.
No, I mean, you never know. You never know, though.
You got to think though, just naturally, it's going to be someone's first throwback weekend every single year. Like we've seen it all.
Well,
but now someone that's just getting into the sport, they're going to see this next run of 4 years, and like they're going to recycle them again, because there's always going to be somebody, a fan that hasn't seen that paint scheme at a throwback weekend yet. You could keep that going forever, essentially, because there's always going to be a new influx of somebody that's about it.
To my favorite scheme ever, dude. Of any, like, in my
that's a top fiver. That's a top
fandom.
5 scheme.
Like, I loved when they released that, Gravedigger's gonna come. First of all, dude, when we were little kids, me and Dovin, Dovin had the sickest dude. He had a sandbox. It should have been called a dirt box. There was no sand in it. It was dirt, dude.
Yeah.
And we had it, dude. We would remold it all the time, dude. It was the sickest place to play. And guess what? There was 10,000 Gravedigger trucks that had wheels broken off. They were like, they were getting crushed now by the new Gravedigger. Dude, when that's came
doing
out,
it right, baby. That's doing it right.
Yeah.
When this came out, I was like, let's go. I bought everything. I have a towel you can whip around. Literally everything.
Oh, Shredder, you don't have to get me and Whitey started on some monster trucking, dude. We have some separate conversations. We go deep.
Fuck Tom Mintz, always.
Yeah, fuck Tom Mintz.
Gravedigger, baby. Dennis Anderson, come on.
Suck it.
Oh, Digger's got one light out. Oh, he's running a little hurt. Not scared. Don't worry about it.
Gravedigger Grave Digger fandom went hand in hand with like WWE, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, dude, you were a maniac for both of them, dude.
And you want to know what? Friday nights TNT, baby, Monster Jam, the good old days.
Loved it.
But no, I totally agree with you guys. But we got a NASCAR weekend to look forward to. JJ Yeley came in last. He had brake issues. We are heading to Bristol. Trucks back on track Friday night, 7:30 on FS1. Xfinity on track Saturday, 5 p.m. on the CW. And then Cup on track, 3 o'clock on FS1. Boys, to go over our picks from last week. Man, Shrey, you came in last. You picked Josh Berry, got you 7 points. Fucked you on that one, but there's always time to recover. I came in third. I picked Tyler Reddick. He got me 41 points. Matt came in second. He picked Denny Hamlin, who won, but he only got you 48 points. And Eric, you picked William Byron to win. He got you 56 points.
That's a win. Put a W next to my fucking name.
That was
Put
a
a
win.
W there, you cocksucker. That's a win.
I'll put a win. Unfortunately, that means you go last. Shrey, who are you picking for Bristol?
So I was between two drivers. I really just teamed Penske, really. I didn't know if they wanted to go to Logano. And just because I don't want to see that car, I don't want to see ketchup cross the yellow line. Ketchup and mustard. You know, I don't like a good old shitty hot dog in Bristol. Listen, Martinsville is better. But I love Bristol. But so I got to go Blaney because he's been putting it together the last few races, and I feel like, especially, Sunday, he had the best car. It was a cool thing seeing MJ come up, giving him his love, champion, appreciating a champion, and was like, not you put in the most work, but it doesn't always go your way. And I gotta say that had to be that's going to be a driving factor for him to get behind the wheel and turn it around this Sunday at Bristol.
I like it. I think it's a good pick. Let's see. Matt picked second, right? Or no, I picked second. So I'm going with kind of a long shot, to be honest with you, but we talked about him a minute ago. Our friend Ryan at iFantasyRace.com tweeted something I thought was interesting. In the next gen car at Bristol, Ryan Preece has the 8th best average finish with an average finish of 11th and the 8th best next gen speed ranking. He's only raced in 3 of the 4 races. So he is that good, minus 1 race. So I am going with Ryan Preece in the 60 car. We'll see if he can win at Bristol. I think Chris Buescher won at Bristol in an RFK car. So we'll see. We'll see if Ryan Preece can do the same. Matt picked third. He's going with Christopher Bell, which I think is also a pretty good pick. He's been running really consistent. Eric, who are you going with for Bristol?
I tend to not pick this guy very often. I don't necessarily know why. Maybe because last year I fucking just never had the opportunity. Maybe you guys took him beforehand. I think he's utterly embarrassed about his performance on Sunday. I think he's going to read the headlines in the comments saying, who? You're really the best driver in the fucking world? You really think so? Look at this guy. He wrecked on a straigate. I'm going with the 5 of Kyle Larson to rebound and really prove he might lead every single fucking lap at Bristol.
I like it.
No, I love it.
I like it. Kyle Larson angry, coming back, trying to redeem himself. We will see. We're 8 races into the 2025 season. We only have 5 guys.
Wait. Who did Matt pick?
Christopher Bell.
Oh, yeah.
We got William Byron, Christopher Bell, Josh Berry, Kyle Larson, and James Dennis Hamlin all locked into the playoffs. We will see. Can Ryan Preece, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, or Kyle Larson get the win in Bristol? We will find out this Sunday, 3 o'clock on FS1 for the Food City 500, and we'll break it all down for you next Tuesday night on the Bumper Run Podcast. For Matt the Statman Riley, for Eric Daytona Ron, Robbie Shrey, I'm Michael D. White, saying have a good night.